All right, morning everyone. Morning. Hope you're doing well.
All right, morning everyone.
You can see we are into silly bugger headline territory again. Of I said that, she said that, they said that, we did this, they did this, none of it matching up, and so the market's in freak out mode. It doesn't know what to do. All right, every tiny little headline is moving this market very, very fast. If you were trading Globex last night, you would have seen it. If you were trading pre-market this morning, you would have seen it. One tweet, 200 points. One tweet, 100 points. All right, you're in the same. We just had exactly the same right now. We had a post on Truth Social. All right, post on Truth Social, big enough to move the market that quickly. But that's where we're at. Well, the post was, Iran is having a very hard time figuring out who their leader is. All right, that was what the post is. And then we get these silly bugger moves. All right, so we're going to have to be cautious today. All right, because if you're not the right side of it, you're going to get your stops swiped. All right. So as always, we're going to start on the daily. Where are we opening up on the daily? We're opening up an inside bar. So our expectation, chop. That's our first expectation, is chop. You can see overnight we've tested the old highs. Remember we talked about this yesterday, RBS, right? And we're still absorbing those old highs for now, and the 5-day. And we have room for upside expansion to the top Bollinger Band if we're going to see an expansion play. It might not be today, it might not be at all. But first thing we're thinking about is inside bar. All right, with an inside bar, we need to be very, very aware of chop. We move into the hourly charts. And in the hourly charts, you can see overnight we came and tested that RBS zone. We went over it in Discord together. We went over it yesterday on stream. All right, here it is. All right, this was originally supply, wasn't it? This is the top of the box. We pull this up for you guys. This was the top of the box. Think about how we created liquidity since Friday to the lows. Is it going to draw? No, apparently not. Should we try that again? All right, from Friday last week to the lows, we come down, we sweep some internals, we come back up, we break out, and guess what? We pull back. We went over it yesterday, right? Breakout, pullback, that's your pullback. We've come into that now 3 times on an hourly. All right, so unless you were trading Globex, you wouldn't have got it. But we came in at 8 p.m. on the fake news that bombs were going off in Iran when it was just Iran testing stuff, right? And we came back down to it again at 11 at night, and we came down to it again at 5 or 6 a.m. this morning. All right, so far the RBS zone is quite clearly being absorbed. You have like a double bottom there, and the ability maybe to build out a W and go higher. It's possibly what they're going to do today. If they fail that, all right, then this would be a failure to make a new high, and if we get stuck here, we can think about that move back down to these RBS zone. And if we let go of the RBS zone, then this whole area will be a failed breakout, and we're coming back down into 26,750s. All right, but that all depends how we shape up today. So what am I looking at this morning? I'm watching this area very, very closely. All right, where we've made this W, where we have previous day's point of control, where we have overnight point of control. This area here is important. We've just dipped into it again. If they keep absorbing this area, they will attempt, right, to come out to take these highs. We have supply up here. In fact, we're going to mark this in. We have some supply up here. Let's just mark this in like this. TradingView is on one today. Hello, TradingView. There we go. Thank you very much. All right, so this area up here becomes important. So if we can absorb and keep absorbing previous day point of control, they will attempt to get over previous day value area high and get up to the high. If they fail to make a new high, just like this did, and we keep failing the extreme of previous day's value area high, it's a very good chance we go from previous day value area high, previous day value area low. All right, which will mean a failure of point control and a trade back down here. You can see at this edge, if we fail this edge, then we will have the liquidity to potentially break back down if they let go of the RBS zone. All right, so basically what I'm saying is we're chopped in here while they make the decision. Each side of it, right, we can have a failure and a trade back in, or we can have a continuation. They have to build the liquidity out first, and we have to stop having these headlines flipping about one way to the other constantly. Okay, let's move up. You can see overnight, all that we did was the big dump on the fake news. There's the big dump, came straight back up, repriced back down to the thin price, didn't take it out, double bottom the RBS, came back up just to check. Yeah, we're still firm here, came back up, and we've just swiped these lows a couple times in here, but we're still holding. All right, so London inside of Globex, all right, no edge taken each way. You've got to be very careful with that. Lots of stops have been left in this market overnight, all right, folks? Lots and lots and lots of stops. All right, move up into here so you can see what we're looking at. GEX levels, all right, we're neutral right now. Call wall is up at 71.60. Put wall is down at 870. All right, so that's in the RBS zone. And that's in the supply zone. Those are the extremes. Everything in between is a chop right now, basically. So these are the extremes in the market right now. These are the far extremes. This is the mega chop. This is an extreme. This is an extreme. So fail breakout, or continuation, All right, so we need to wait, really wait to get towards an extreme before we think about anything, unless there's a clear indication at the open. At the moment, we're not seeing much. ES. Same kind of story here. All right, you're stuck between the two VWAPs. Surprise, surprise. All right, surprise, surprise. Daily VWAPs, New York VWAPs, stuck between the two. There's the move back down. Exactly the same kind of thing. It came a bit deeper, but if we think about this as the chop and slop, all right, we've held this on the dip back in, came back out, dip back in, came back out. It is creating one of these, right? Can they swipe for it later? Very possibly. If they fail to break a high, we can think about that move. But at the moment, same kind of story. You are in this zone here. You are holding an RBS zone, but you are failing to break out a high. This is your range in here, basically from 57s down to 45-ish. That's your range for the morning anyway, until we move out of it. All right, let's have a look at the spiders, everything else. Yeah, no man's land, man. No man's land. Here's your pre-market high on SPY and gap fill close. Here's your pre-market low. Here's your midpoint. Here's VWAP. Here's high volume node. Literally no man's land. Again, held this, breakout, pullback, but cannot break out of the highs yet. Still failing to break out of the highs. No man's land. It's not a good open, folks, at the moment. It's not looking like a good open. The only thing is if there's a backside move right now. All right, QQQ. There's your high. There's your gap fill. You've came and tried to fill the gap. Well, you did fill it during Asia, but we don't really pay attention to that. That's a pre-market high until we do it in New York session, and you've held this breakout point. All right here. All right, so this is liquidity being built. This is the dump. This is the hold. This is the print back in. That's a failure to make a new high. We're opening up midpoint of this. If we fail to make a new high, we're coming back for this. If we print up here and hold, they try and do a breakout move up here. All right, so it's really a question is, are we going to see backside down to this? Do we hold this or break down? Or are we going to get back up here, hold, and go for the breakout? All right, well, this area here, certainly not very nice for bulls. It's a bit better for shorts, but really I'd say there's not much edge where we are at all. Like we want to see that fail if we're going to play downside like this, that, all right, rather than in a pre-market. That's where my head would be. Dixie's still trying to get going because we haven't had the end of the war. So it's starting to pick up again, all right? It's starting to come into this area here we talked about. We have a gap above it. So if they break out over 99s, there is a gap fill up here towards the 100, all right? But like if the ceasefire holds and the war calms down, you're going to see this thing melt back off again. So the question is this a lower high? Or are they going to reclaim and fill this gap? It all depends on the news, I would say. We're so headline driven right now. VIX still holding in the high teens, all right? So we've come up to 20 in that last swipe a few minutes ago. We're still basing over 19s. You can see this liquidity being built here. This is the base, 19s to 20. Chop and slop in that area. All right, let's go through the mag. 5 minutes to go. Apple looking good, breaking out here. All right, so new highs here, above previous week's high. All right, so any dip back in here into Apple towards 73 that holds, we can see if it can get going. Look at that big inverted head and shoulders thing. We talked about that yesterday. If that gets going, looks great. All right, and again, this is the same kind of story. It held the breakout. Remember, we broke out, it held it. So dips look good on Apple all the time. They're holding sort of 73s, maybe even 72s. We'll see that, otherwise it'll be a failed break. Amazon, same kind of story. It's trying to do the same thing, just not up as high. Built liquidity. All right. We're over this. There's your W. Breakout. Pullback. Held pre-market. Do they have the juice to go any further? We're about to find out. Goog. Same kind of story. You can see this is repeatable pattern. Liquidity built here. Come on. Liquidity built here. Fell under. Hold the level. Come back in. Just trying to build to get up towards these highs at the moment. Whether they have the juice or not, again, is another thing. Opening up flat on Goog. Meta, that's a weaker one right now. All right, gap down on Meta. Must be news here this morning. Targeting 820. Can't see anything particularly negative. Maybe it's more capex spend off the back of Tesla. All right, but here looks a problem, doesn't it? All right, there's your neckline break, and we fail to recover it. So that's your level, 70. It fails at 70, all right, for downside pressure. Reclaim 70 will be a look below and fail. But Meta, I'd be watching that 670 level if you're day trading that, or even if you're swing trading at 670 is your level. Microsoft, weakness in Microsoft as well. Wow, that's a big gap down. That is a big gap down on Softy. Earnings coming next week on Softy. All right, so liquidity take, back downside, coming back into this pool here. How we act here will become key, whether they find a bid back up or not. Nvidia, still holding on well, top side of this range. Remember, it's still trying to get up to here. This is its target at the moment. So it just depends where the dips come in and hold these 201s. We've started to have earnings in some of these chip names, so it depends whether they're going to find a bid. Don't think the earnings this morning and last night particularly good for chips, but we'll see. Tesla absolutely smoked. All right, its earnings were good, but increased its capex spend. So earnings were great, and then they went, hey, we're spending more on AI and robotics, and puke out. Market doesn't like that right now. That's why the names are down so bad as they are. So it still doesn't like the capex spend. So there we go. Failed to get and hold above 400s. Like we talked about, 400s, 420 was the move, and we're coming right back down to where we broke out from into these levels. All right, so you'd be probably best looking to fade pops on Tesla today. And Oracle probably moving with these, yeah. So moving software starting to come back inside after some of these names, I think, had earnings last night and started to get cooked back inside. So we're coming back in on some of these names. We're just going to have to see how we settle down in some of these broader names. Netflix found a bid this morning. There you go, found a bid this morning. I'm still waiting for it to undercut. That was on a buyback scheme. All right, I'm still waiting for a bit more of an undercut here. If possible, something under these, run these stops, and then at sub 90, I'm interested in reloading. Not before then. So we'll see. We'll see. It might not come in for me. Might not come in for me. What a choppy market we have here. I can just see Bookmap running on my monitor up here while we're doing the pre-market analysis. We are all over the shop. It doesn't know what to do. Again, there we go. Completely all over the shop. So down into previous day point of control. I'm going to delete the overnight levels because they match up pretty much perfectly with previous day levels. All right, so those are the extreme. The previous day value area levels are the extreme right now. And we're just going to have to wait and see what we get here. Let it shake out at the open yesterday. Great reads yesterday. Poor execution, and it went all day long. Let me see here. QQQ and the SPY and the ES and the NQ all opening up right at the high volume node. All right, 0 DTE high volume node. We're all opening up basically flat at that level around the VWAPs. See this chop. So if we come up here, we'll see if we fail up here, or if we're going to base and go again. We'll wait for the open, make a decision once we get through the open. Okay, here we go, folks. So dipping back in again. Just another dip back into VWAP here as we start to melt underneath a little bit. Exactly the same as we've done all morning. We're just going to need to be patient. Most of the mag opening up very, very heavy here. So we'll see if they're going to flush back down to previous day value area low here underneath all this VWAP. Here they go. So there's some bids coming in here protecting 65s. I want to see if they come down to this extreme or up to this extreme or down to this extreme or up to this extreme up here. We will find out shortly. ES over its 150 level. Mag are heavy, right? Other than, I'll give you a little readout. Oracle 4.52% down. I know it's not a mag, but it is a big 10. Tesla 3.64% down. Nvidia 0.20% down. Microsoft 2.5% down. Meta 1.75% down. Google 0.39% up. Amazon 0.31% down. Apple 0.5% up. So mixed bag there, but most of them seeing sell pressure here this morning as we continue to chop in this little range that we just talked about. Failing the New York high there. ES is looking like it wants to try and get going, so a stronger move out the bell on the ES. So probably finances and energy probably finding a bid. Energy has been lackluster for the last, I don't know, 6 months. It has seemed like it started to find a bid more recently. Let me move this bookmap down a little bit. Okay, back into these lows again. Are they going to trap down here and absorb? We have big divergence to ES. ES at high of day and NQ near the low of day right now. Fun, fun, fun. We all love these divergent days, don't we? Yes, they're so much fun. So no extreme tagged. We are under current VPOC. Absorption happening down there again. Back into value area high of this session again. Lifting back towards the New York Open again. ES still moving high side. This is woeful, woeful price action right now. Back to VWAP again and value area low on the session again. We can get some volume on here before I forget. There we go. Man, this is awful. What an awful open. They don't know what to do with this market. I don't blame them. How would you know what to do with the market when we can't make a decision on anything? When we're in a market where a post on a social media platform that no one uses is constantly moving the market. Who would want to trade that? So absorption down at those lows in the grey box, just like we saw earlier in the day or earlier in the Globex session, same lows. And they're going to try and come up for this. We're waiting for an extreme, remember. We're waiting for either down here, or for up here and up here. That's what we're trying to wait for anyway. So ES failing that little breakout. I wonder if we need to run all these stops here and then make a decision. Yeah, failing that New York Open at the moment. No liquidity either side really been filled this morning. Looking at on Bookmap, just stagnant right now. Absolutely stagnant. You just know one headline will change everything. Also, I should say, I think we have news in 10 minutes. There is news as well. News this morning that already came out was jobless claims came in a hot print, so not good. SPY is going off. SPY just failed that high volume gamma level at 710. So I wonder what we're going to do here. I mean, nothing happening. There's just nothing happening, folks. Someone's going to get hurt. It's always the way. Like when we do nothing, we're opening up at VWAPs. We've got divergence. There's not much happening. Someone will get hurt. We're just going to have to be patient and wait to move away from some of these levels at the moment. Not really very interesting to be looking at. Back up to New York Open. There's lots of buying on the book at the moment. There we go. They're going to sweep these levels and come up here. Apple driving at the moment. It's amazing that the resilience of markets, honestly, it is absolutely amazing. Can have comments like the Hormuz remains closed until we get a deal when there's clearly no deal on the table. And we can just be very, very resilient and hold up. coming into these 35s. It's New York Open. They still haven't swept any of these levels above, which is somewhat surprising, but we know what NQ's been like recently, but taking an age to come and sweep levels. We go ES-Tron for a new high. NQ starting to get going now. So watching the extremes up here to see if we get stuck anywhere up here or not. Right, do we get stuck up here, gap fill, or up here? Or do we base and go, or base and go? I'm just waiting for an extreme because we're inside previous day and we're inside value. Remember, previous day high right up here, previous day close here, previous day value area high here. This is your extreme high. These technically are your extreme lows because we're in a range. These are, remember, these are my worst markets. I hate ranges. I really dislike ranges. Okay, back down to New York Open. So we've now swept those stops. Are they going to come up further for value area high though? All of the mag other than Apple now red. It's really not a good sign right now, but we are holding on pretty well here on the NQ, but the mag is bleeding. Have a little look around on these. Tesla's caught a bid this morning, but that pop will probably be sold into Nvidia. Pop and drop and then coming back into range. Not much there. Microsoft trying to find a bid off the lows, stuck at VWAP. Meta found a bid off the lows, stuck at a gamma level, stuck at VWAP. Goog popped and dropped, got absolutely slammed into its gamma level of 340. Amazon dropped and then found a bid. It's a complete mixed bag out there. It is so, like, all you have to do is look at a 5 or 10 minute chart on any of those. They all look all over the shop. All over the shop right now. No clear direction. All right, high volume node here. We've now swept to come into it. I'm waiting to see if we can move higher before I think about anything else. We're literally exactly where we were when we opened, basically. There's been no change. Zero change. All right, are we going to come up? Do they want the gap fill? Somewhat surprised that they have the strength, but ES looks pretty good. So through that high volume node, into previous day value area high. Above here, we have gap fill and Globex high right the way up here. If they're adamant on going for all those levels today, I would need to see us get above all of this in base. Otherwise, it's going to be a reversion trade back into the midpoint. H1 looks dreadful. There is a potential W there for the upside, but I don't like the look of it at the moment. Looks dangerous. Is there any big players higher? 71s. Not really. All right, failing previous day value area high for now, but still above current value area high. They're still looking to extend this session. There's just a slow bid walking this up right now. I'm not seeing much selling. Just a slow bid walking it up at the moment. It's pretty amazing, to be honest, how poor this is. There we go. So basing over the node. They're going to come up for here now. They're going to try and get the gap fill. I mean, they should get the gap fill, really. They've done enough work down here. That dip. Absorb down here again. So they're coming for gap fill. And if they come through that, they're coming for... I'll make sure that is all-time high. Yeah, all-time high just up here. It'd be pretty impressive. Google now gone red to green. Amazon now gone red to green as well. So they're trying to catch a bid. I find it pretty impressive right now that we are just able to continue a grind up given what's going on, broader context of stuff. But the strength is definitely coming from ES. Rotation into RTY as well. RTY nice and green on the day. So we've moved out of tech. We're out of software again, back into the small caps, at least for the current session. Holding previous day value area high now. They want the gap fill. They clearly want the gap fill here. They want the efficient market at the moment. It's just a slow grind up. There's no selling. It's like some small lot selling up here. It's really a very slow tape this morning walking up. There's some lots here from sort of 70 into 100, but there's nothing of notable size. It's very, very lackluster tape this morning. ES into Globex still nowhere near its PDC. This thing is just printing higher and higher and higher. So we have to wait. We have to wait. If you want to be a buyer here, that's up to you. I'm not going to be buying this here. I just don't like what I'm seeing on the tape at all today. And you got divergence with CVD. Like everything looks awful right now. I think we're going to come for PDC, probably try and fill the gap. Like I said, these sellers up here are very small. They're 35 and 30 lots. They're not. There's nothing notable here. There's no big selling on the tape. It's just gently drift higher. We're in a gentle drift higher mode. We got news here coming in 2 minutes, by the way, folks. Inside bar. Now outside of value. We're just holding outside of value for now. So slow. It is such a slow tape right now. Here they come, going for the gap fill. It is so slow on this tape. There is no one playing right now. It's just a slow drift up algo. There is literally no one at home. This is very, very slow this morning. Very slow. All right, news about to drop here, 10 seconds, just be aware. I would assume they will fill this gap on the news and then who knows if they do something nasty afterwards. ES looks much stronger in how it's built out here. Very slow. I think the moves were overnight. I did say it in Discord last night. I said I felt like what happened last night probably kills the New York session today. Because the best move would have been that to play the fade back into the RBS and then go long from there. PMI pretty much came out in line. Actually, 54 versus 52s. All right, into this next grey box. They're still bidding here. They're trying to get up into here. It's there's nothing to do here for me. If you want to play a slow grind up, you can, if that's your market. I'm certainly not going to be doing that. But that's what we've got. It's a slow grind up. Dip's paying right now. Here they go, just like nothing's happened. Yeah, basically no reaction to, that's what I mean. I mean, there were reactions, but we're just absorbing tapes. So we're seeing absorption down here. The play that I would have been interested in today was down here. All right, this is where I wanted to be a buyer. They did it overnight. So it kind of takes my plays away from me. I want to really be joining longs down here for higher time frame RBS zones. So we talked about it in Discord last night. All right, gap now filled. As your gap fill, so if you were long, you want to be locking in some profits here. ES still has a bit more to go, but you can see the reaction off the gap fill. Efficient market now. They can keep going if ES is going to do the same thing, and then you've got highs above it. This thing's just slowly grinding. Honestly, they're just absorbing and slowly grinding and absorbing and slowly grinding and absorbing and slowly grinding. This is not a market that is attracting me at all right now, folks. I'm looking at it thinking, this looks shit. Are we in a blow-off? I mean, definitely not in a blow-off top, are we? We're not at a new high. We're not seeing blow-off volume. Why would this be a blow-off? This is absolutely not a blow-off. This is completely the opposite to a blow-off. A slow grind couldn't be more opposite to a blow-off if you tried. Okay, they've got some orders here at 10s and then up to the 135s. Same kind of levels as yesterday. Look, they're holding the gap now. They're slow grind and grind and grind. ES about to hit its previous day close, and then we've got previous day high above, and that will be all-time highs. And then who knows what happens up there? Maybe they go for an explosive move. I mean, this is pretty frustrating to see them do this in Globex and not be given a nice entry. But there we go. And these VWAPs holding up really well. This grey box holding up well. I wanted to see us come a little bit lower to be a buyer today, given what we did last night. But slow grind start the day, divergence start the day. ES has now filled the gap, SPY's filled the gap, Qs have filled the gap. QQQ is actually over previous day high right now. So we have divergence to the ETFs as well. And VIX is going nowhere. NVIDIA is crossing that big level. It's just taken out that big level liquidity. Be aware of that. NVIDIA has got going today, clearly. I've just had an alert come off. All right, we just crossed a huge level on NVIDIA. Why is it lost all my alerts? We've just crossed a huge level here, breaking out. That is amazing. So they're on this chart and not on the others? Hang on. What? Where's my alert gone? Maybe it's been deleted because of it. Yeah, NVIDIA's got going here. NVIDIA's got going here. Big liquidity pool we just tagged into on NVIDIA. Sellers at those hive days. Auction doesn't look very good up there. I don't think this is finished. Sellers up there, they probably want previous day high. Opening range now set as well, folks. You can think about this opening range. Not much volume being built out yet, really. Very slow. Slow walk up. VPOC now moved up here. Are they just going to print up for a slow grind all day? That's the big question now. Do we slow grind all day long now? Zoom this in. Back to opening range. They're still absorbing opening range. There's a few bids here, but again, very lackluster. I'd be cautious if they come right back down in like this. I'd be cautious. What I mean is can be very nasty because we've had no volume. So we filled the gap. We're down into the next grey box. Ugh. I'd be very careful now. So they just wanted an efficient market, clearly. If they can't bid this, we roll the whole thing over back down to these lows. But it's a swipe and a slow grind back up at the moment. We'll see. If they fail now, we've created a bit of a node here. If they fail this, certainly if they fail 74, 75s, it would be failed follow through. But it's hard to warrant pulling a trigger right now. I'm going to be honest with you. This is not my kind of market. This feels very dangerous with slow grinds up, divergence to CVD, not a good auction at the high, divergence with the VIX. VIX just ripped from 19 to 20 and came straight back down again. Previous day value area high still being bid on. This is what I just said. Failed follow through would be here. If they bid above this, we'll make a new high, but this is the level here. The moment you'd have to say they're absorbing everything. ES came right down to VWAP and got absorbed. So ES is sort of dictating at the moment. Back through this node. They can lift this back up now. If they get back through PDC, they'll go for a new high. Slow grind up it is, I think, by the looks of it. Alex, 5-minute chart, the gap is not filled. The gap is here. The gap is filled. I don't care what time frame you're looking at. The gap is filled. It doesn't matter what time frame you're looking at. It won't make a difference. The gap is filled. All right, the gap is filled. The yellow line is filled. That's your 4 o'clock close. That doesn't change based on time frame. That's the close of yesterday. Right, failing this little node here. This is the dance here, but again, they've printed volume and held volume. So if you're going to be looking for a fade back inside today, it's going to be very hard now with how they've built this out. I would be very, very cautious unless we start to see a major, major shift in momentum. Back inside the opening range here, back to previous day value area high. If they lose previous day value area high, we go back inside of yesterday's value. If they hold above this, they will try and expand yesterday's value and the current week value. But we just tapped into supply up here, this grey box. Back to value area high again. This is the level. If they lose this level, we go back inside of previous day value. If they hold this level, they will look to expand higher. It's very, very simple. Look at this node they've developed. This becomes important, all right, for the day. They keep holding this value area high. They try and do this. They fail this. They will try and rotate down to here. That's the battle right now. Here come the sellers. They're looking for the 50 break. At the moment, they are not getting it. Lots of bids here at the 50s. I'll watch this if we do trade inside. And massive divergence to ES as well. If we trade inside, I'll think about the rotation play, but they're going to make it hard, I think, by the looks of it. They're stacked buyers down to 35s right now. Here we go. Let's see. There's 50s. Is there any follow through? You've got to follow through here if I'm going to try it. Watching these wicks here into these imbalances. Right, a little piece on. Like to stay heavy versus 62s. They're still absorbing down here. And the seller's not walking down from 80s, looking to see if they join at 62s. I've got a little feather on at the moment. Still absorbing 45s. Still some buyers here. Come on, sellers, come down from 80s for me. I want to be careful. We've got divergence to ES. Here we go. Can we get through this imbalance? There's an imbalance here at 40. If we trade under that imbalance, we should come back down to 25s, as long as we stay heavy here. As long as we stay heavy here. Nope. Can't get through this little imbalance. Here we go. Come on. Thank you. Can we come down to 25s? Can you stop being an arse? All right, moving my stop into the money. See if we can wash back down. ES isn't going to need to get under its New York VWAP. We need to get under VWAP as well. All right, if we trade under this, we get follow through. Otherwise, they can absorb this and go again. I'm seeing if we do that full range rotation. Here we go. So back inside previous day's value. Can we rotate previous day's value now? Right, back towards previous day point of control, ideally. Here we go. Can we bleed some more? Took a little piece off here. Some buys here at 30s. Because the structure here from where we broke out from is 30s. They can hold this grey box, remember, right here. So I've taken a piece here, and we'll see if we can wash back down towards the lows. Yes, still holding above VWAP. Still divergence, cues into the high volume node. Probably take this off if we hit 54s, which we look like we're about to do. So it might just be a scalp, we'll see. We'll see if we want to leave this properly or not. Trying to see if they're going to rotate yesterday's range. That's what I'm looking at the moment. It's good. It's a battle here now. This is structure here where we are. If you zoom out of the M5 or the H1, you'll see this is the structure. M5, you can see it. This is the top of the W, right? So if they hold this, we'll move back up to the highs. If they let go of this, then we can move lower. Nice. This is the next little imbalance here at 30s. Right into, we've gone wick to wick on the M5 here. So this is an important level. You can cover some here. There's a big buyer stepping in here. Hopefully we can use him to get trapped in a minute. Can we wash down towards the lows? Really good. Can we expand this down? Here's the New York Open. All right, taking a little bit more off here. Moving my stop in a little bit just to protect, and we'll see if they're willing to let this go or not. That's the New York Open being held. ES again holding its New York VWAP. So remember, we've got divergence there. You're going to have to be very, very careful with the divergence at play. Still got a little piece on. See if we can move lower. Oh, I've just moved that. What level is that? 91s. Oh, it's the worst thing about Ninja. When you move something, there's no control Z to put it back. Okay, coming into value area low for the session into the New York Open. So I've covered a lot now. Just seeing if we can get expansion lower or not here. Runners only now. If we start letting go of these levels, we can re-add. Range rotation it is, like we said. Range rotation day, it's my worst market. I'm not the best trader at this stuff, I'll be honest with you. But once we failed those 50s and previous day value area high, then we knew we were going back into yesterday's range, which means this was a look above and fail into PDC. We're coming back down to previous day point control. So these are your cover points here. And if we get under this, we expand this range. Here we go. Beautiful. So pretty good. That's 50 points into this level, and we'll just see how much more we get now, folks. I needed a lot of patience today, but like I said, these are my least favorite moves. If we break the lows, it would be a very, very good sign that today might bleed, because it would be a gap fill and then a reversal with a heavy mag after Nvidia took liquidity. All right, we'd like to stay heavy at 700s now. This is looking really good. Fantastic. Look at this. Look at this, a bit more and we'll get 100 points. Lower day would be 100 points, basically. Where's that guy trying to beef me on YouTube yesterday saying, you can't get $200 out of using 2 micros? And I said, I get 100 points regularly on stream. And that's $400, you prick. Where are you? I hope you're watching, you mug. Amount of times I wake up to morons leaving stupid comments on YouTube. All right, we'll see now. If we can stay heavy here, it'd be fantastic. But we're into the edge of range, so we're covering 80%. I would like pops to fail now. We don't want to reclaim of the New York Open. ES coming into the New York Open here as well, folks. All right, so we want pops to fail. We'd like ES to start failing here. We want to be careful with this level. Come on. Can we get a bit more here? So ES finding a bid on that New York Open. Like I said, just be careful down here. It's very, very sensitive because of where we are with the other markets. But ideally, 27,000 fails here, ideally. Certainly the New York Open would have to stay heavy. Otherwise, we need to be completely done with it. But I think we can still break lower. Come on, extend this. Let's go. Peeling a little bit off into this. There's sellers at these lows. Don't want to get caught with that seller at that low. Don't want them to protect lower day. So we've peeled a little bit off there. And we'll see how low can we go. ES needs to get under that VWAP. 24-hour VWAP, 7150. That's the high gamma node on ES. It's a big, big node on ES. So we've peeled most off into this. That got us, what, 80, 90 points? 80 points. And we see here, this is the level now. If they don't sell this or New York Open, we need to be done with it with runners. Because again, we're in a range, right? So we failed previous day value area high. Look above and fail. We came back down to previous day point of control. Right, we can come back up to previous day value area high if they want to be nasty with it. Or if the bulls finally let go, we'll trade back down to previous day value area low. Last target hit and done. Yeah, nice work, folks. You guys should be smacking those W's in chat if you traded any of this with me. Required a bit of patience. We'll see. It's a great response from ES, though. That's 7150. So ES held its range. Right? It's held its range. We can go right back up, like I said. If they're going to be nasty with this, it's a range day. We can go right back up from this side to this side if they want to be really, really nasty with it. And we've got major, major divergence. Okay, major divergence with the two. So that's your New York Open taken. All right, so if they squeeze back up here, they're going to look for 60s. I'm done with this now. I'd much rather see this build liquidity and break down, but we have to respect what we're seeing. Grey box to grey box to grey box. The 3 grey boxes. Grey, grey, grey. Trading between all of these at the moment. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. Look at that response from ES on the 150s. Crazy. And again, VWAP to VWAP on ES, folks. 24-hour VWAP up to the New York VWAP. Just trapping between the two. This is day number 1 million of saying that in the morning on ES. It seems to do it non-stop at the moment. So we'll see here if there's follow through. I'm out of this, but I don't mind repositioning if we start to fail. At the moment, we're holding above VPOP for the day, that 27,000 kind of level. Actually, kind of, this node here is you kind of over under now what they're going to do with this here. They're trying to bid on it at the moment. If they let go of it, there'll be some follow through to downside. Here it is into this level. There's imbalances underneath. They're still bidding this level at the moment. There's still sellers all the way up at 45s and above. So this, the problem with this at the moment is the tape has the same story every single day at the moment. It's slow grind up and sellers, other than I forget which day we had like a stronger down day, But sellers unwilling to walk down. They just stay up high. They're like, no, I'll get filled up here. I'm not interested in putting sell pressure on this market. I'll just stay up here. In fact, I'm going to lift higher and higher and higher, which is what we're seeing at the moment. That puts me off thinking about continuation trades, because if I was going to look for a continuation trade, I'd want sellers to walk down and apply pressure, not to lift up and go the other way, which is what we're seeing. So back inside value for the day. So rotation has been complete. We'll see if they can create liquidity here for like one of these, but we want to be very careful with where we are when we zoom this out. All right, but these stops can get run here today if they want to do it. But we're going to need a bit of liquidity, and we're going to need ES to start playing ball. So back into VWAP again here, into VPOC, VWAP, all in the same areas. Sellers still not walking down yet. Feels like they might come soon, but at the moment they're just sat up there at 45s. See if they start chasing here. Remember, if we do a second leg up here, we'll go all the way to previous day value area high. So we've got to be careful here. So we wait for this to build out some liquidity. See what we can see here. All right, let's see. This area here is very sensitive. Need ES to join in. It would be much easier if ES joins in here rather than having huge divergence. If we start breaking down, if I see buyers get caught, I join in. At the moment, all I'm seeing is sellers get caught. Look at these sellers still 45. They just sat up at 45. There's a few at 25 and 30s. It's not like they're in a hurry to sell it at the moment. So I'd say they would need to sell this low volume node into 12s. That's where I would think, okay, they're willing to walk down. They'd need to sell this low volume node into 12s. They're still, look, they've just moved up to 55. So it puts me off. It really puts me off with what we're seeing here. Why are you running away? All of the mag now red other than Nvidia and Apple. It feels like we want to get heavy here, but it feels like there's no sellers willing to walk down at the moment. For whatever reason, they're not willing to walk down. So this is the area I'd say they need to sell. Otherwise, we're going to see a second leg higher. They're moving up and up and up. They're running away. They're not even getting filled. They're moving higher and higher and higher. See? This is not a good sign right now if you're looking for the continuation trade. ES doing a very good job of holding on as well, back through both of its VWAPs at the moment. I think you're going to have to let this just build out and do whatever it is it needs to do for a while, because we are right in the midpoint of value on the session, and we've held the previous day point of control, and we failed previous day value area high, and we're trapped between the two right now. This is an A+ chop. Let's call it that. This is an A+ chop scenario. If you're a chop trader, this is your day. This is your day. If you love chop, this is it. It's telling you, hey, we're going to chop all day long. So back up to previous day value area high now. I'd say it's very, very possible. Lift right back up into here. If they get over this, we're going to go squeeze back to the highs. So this is your second leg. Right, the trades are this and this. That's the trades. I won't be taking that long. But those are the trades. And still sellers moving higher and higher and higher and higher. We're now selling up at 70s. Now above the New York Open. Back to VPOC, back to VWAP. Yes, still above its VWAPs. Okay, can we move lower here and stay heavy? This is the node. Remember, we talked about 27,000. We've got to move under that and stay heavy. Otherwise, there's no trade for me. Still absorbing here for now. Under here, there's not a buy until 80 right now on the tape. Looks very thin. Sellers starting to move down. Can they move down from 70s? They're starting to try and sell 30s on a lift. This is the low volume node that we're in at the moment. They've got to move under this bigger node, under 27,000s, for me to be interested for any continuation. Here's 27,000 being tapped again. And then we can think about the liquidity below. 27,000 tapped again. So we need to move under this and stay heavy. Okay, here's the move under it. Can we stay heavy? We cannot reclaim this node. We need to stay heavy on this node because we've got previous day point of control underneath. We need to flip all these value buyers from yesterday need to become sellers in the market. We're still not seeing that. It's going to come, I think, but timing it's going to be very, very hard. Still this seller at 30 and 45 and 55 not walking down. Again, these are the things that put me off trades. Still holding this node. We need to move under this node aggressively. Do not want to get trapped down here because we're at lower day, right? In a range. We really do not want to get trapped trying to short early here. We need to move away from these levels. At the moment, everything at previous day point of control and under his sell side has been absorbed. We need to get under all of this. Sellers starting to walk down. First time today, they're joining the tape at 27,000. Still some guys at 45s I'd like to see move down, but they're starting to try and sell the 27,000s now. Here they come. Here they come. Okay, I'm watching this now to see if we can stay heavy. ES still not letting go, by the way. ES looks very strong. It's nowhere near its low of day. Where's VIX? No, nowhere near either. Okay, back into this point of control from yesterday. Still haven't put a piece on here. I'm waiting to put something on. I do not want to get trapped. ES looks very strong here. I do not like what I'm seeing over there on ES. It's holding its 710s on the SPY. It's in positive gamma. It's above both its VWAPs. It's the complete opposite. We're below both VWAPs or at both VWAPs and not letting go. So we just need ES to play ball and we might get the move. Without that, not too keen. Back to previous day point of control again here. Waiting to put something on short side. I just need to see a little bit more. All right, here comes the momentum. All right, so anything now, I'm looking for short side. Any pops which fail now, I'm going to look for short side. And I really need ES to join in. Here we go. So here's value area low on the session. We need to expand this back down towards low of day. 70s is low of day. We did absorb there last time. We need to wash all this out. And there's lots of guys to now fill lower. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Still absorbing down here at the moment. Still no lower day break. Still no ES breaking down. Be very careful. Do not be over aggressive down here. And we must stay heavy versus 27,000. Ideally, we stay heavy versus 90, but probably 27,000 more realistic. They're still absorbing in this box. Still no sweeps. That's what we're watching. If they come and run these. All right, there's a lift to 27,000. Big absorption down there, folks. If we drive through this, I'll cut this out. Yeah, still holding on. Here's the 27,000 test. Any pop over this, I'm done. Any pop over this node, I'm done with it. So do not want to be trapped at these lows, and it's very possible. And sellers now adding higher again, being assholes. I'm done with it. No follow through. There is a zero follow through. It's just box to box. They're not going to run any stops. Clearly, not going to sit in it if they're not going to do the trade. Don't want to get caught. Here we go. So there's the lift. So we don't hold when they don't want to play ball. That's just how it is. They had the chance there to go. They were unwilling to go. Look at this drive, because everyone was looking for the same move and probably unwilling to cut. And ES, like I said, the strength over there is a pain. This week's starting to become very, very hard to trade with the divergence and headlines, honestly. It's making, at least for me, for how I like to trade, it's making my life very, very hard. Small long on the rejection. Yeah, if you guys got long there on where I cut out, probably made sense to flip long there. So I just have to let this build out again more. This is ugly. This is very ugly. Is it 27,000 check? Buyers will need to hold this now that they've come back above it. What a chop fest. So we're now stuck in this, which is what? 40-point range? That's what we're now stuck in. It's not wanting to go down. Yeah, it's, well, quite right. It's not wanting to go down. They've had the chance. What I'm looking at is to see if they're going to do the backside on this. All right. We failed to get back up here. Right. I'm looking to see if they're trying to build this out to move lower, but the absorption here is notable. Because we've got lots of stops if we do want to pop down, and then I'm willing to buy back from there. But at the moment, all we want to do is just be stuck, apparently. That's all we're going to do. Just stuck. Again, the strength is coming from ES. Yeah, you guys who are range traders probably having fun. For people like me who like playing expansion or fail breaks and stuff, this is not fun. The only decent trade so far today was this. This is our trade today, and then we've had another go around here, and it's not done it. And I want to be careful because you've got volume here. If they break above this, they come up here. If they break below this, then I think we go down. But it's going to be hard to get the short now. They've made it very, very hard now. Here's 27,000 check again. This is a heavier selling now. What are we doing? Seriously. Rejection of 165 on ES, that gamma level. But holding 150. So again, just pinned by options traders by them at the moment, by the looks of it. Are they going to come for this now? Let me zoom this in. The same level matters. Still absorption down here under 27,000. Still ES into VWAP. I feel like they're going to snap and break, but it's just like, how are we going to get an entry today at this point? Again, look at these sellers above. They are not walking down. I hate seeing that. No aggression on the tape. I'm trying to like convince myself how to get involved here. This is the same trade we were in if we take it. There's been absorption down here all day long. We would need whoever's the big buyer here to turn into a big seller. All right, if he starts liquidating. ES is starting to look very different now. There's a big rejection up there at that 165. I will have one more go in this. All right, I'm going to have one more go in this to see if we're going to run all the stops. Need to see it stay heavy at 27,000 on this next test back in. ES just held VWAP again. Oh my God. Making me feel disgusting. ES, you are making me feel disgusting looking at this. Nah, ES isn't done. ES isn't done. Leave it alone for a minute. ES isn't done. So if we just want to see the divergence here, all right, this thing is not done. It's so different. Remember, we're down here. We are under all of this. We're down here. right, under all of these. This is a very different market. This is holding the market up, right? We're divergent. All right, 27,000. This is me deciding whether I'm going to put risk on or not here. I don't like it. All of the mag now red other than Apple. Nvidia's now gone red on the day. But we are still holding up. Just let that sink in. Car upside hold. I mean, yeah, like I said yesterday, I got my old man into some pretty big puts. We were up well into 5 figures. He's just holding runners now. They were 580 with 11th of May expiries that he took at the close on Friday. Friday? What day does it say? Thursday today? Wednesday? They took on the close on Tuesday. So done with that now with car and just runners on that, on those puts, and then I'll be looking for the first bounce to fade. It might take a week to set up like 2021. All right, we're still rejecting the 7,000s. We're still holding around previous day point of control. There's still no follow through yet. I'm waiting to get short in this. I need ES to play bull. The mag is all red other than Apple, but we will not break down. There is definitely a passive buyer down here absorbing the tape. Once he becomes a seller, we can have a breakaway trade to the downside, I think, towards previous day value area low. That's what I would like to get involved with if they're going to let it happen. At the moment, they're not letting it happen. For whatever reason, there is someone wants to absorb all day long here, and we have divergence. And I look at the 5 minute and I just think, what are we doing? What are we doing? Still no selling walking down. Look at these guys above. It's literally pathetic. This tape is pathetic today. Just got to sit it out. You've got to sit this out. You just look at the M5. It is a joke. What is this? This is a joke. We don't sweep either side now. We just get stuck both sides now, apparently. That's all NQ does. We probably come and take all these guys out at this point. It's had enough goes. It's probably going to come up and take all these stops out here. And then what's the bet? It comes up here, runs everyone out, and then comes down later in the day when Alex isn't here. Probably quite strong, I'd imagine. Quite strong possibility we do that. ES again. Will not let go. It's coming for that 165 again. It's failed to get over that and base all day. It has closed its gap, but it just looks too strong right now on the ES to me. Are we waiting for another big earnings report? Well, we are in earnings season, so we have big earnings report every morning and every evening at the moment. Well, I think more that the market doesn't know what to do right now. It's scared. So we're not risk on, we're not risk off. So we're just stuck. Still haven't swept all these stops up here into 30s. And then value area high right now is 45. And all these guys, sellers are all stacked up here and above. Right, ES 165, just got over it. Is it going to hold the bid here? Nope. Doing the 165 dance. Back over 165. If they hold these bids, they can go and take out previous day high, and they can look for 7155 today on ES. It can keep, if they're going to go for a grind up, it can keep grinding today because they've now held a higher low on the M5 this morning. versus pre-market. They did make a new high before that, and we can expect a new high to be made, technically speaking, if they can hold this shelf at 165. It's a massive level. It's a big if, but that's what they're trying to do right now. YM's on a ripper. It's having a good drive up, but it's just closed its gap. That's all it's done right now. We've literally right this second just filled its gap. So how it acts here becomes important. Remember, that's an efficient market. Chop and slop. And buyers now stepping in, protecting 7,005. Nothing to do. We've had an attempt already. Can't be a wishy-washy attempt around here. Nope, no thank you. So for you range traders, it looks like we're holding. If you were buying these lows at the bottom of value and selling these, buying this, selling that, buying this, selling that, buying this, selling that, you probably had quite a good day. I just can't do that. I don't know why. I just cannot do that. My brain can't do it. Can see it and can't do it. All right, looks like they're going to pop and run these stops now in my mind. ES is now above that 165. So they should come and run all the stops out at 30s, and then you probably get a squeeze out. Maybe back towards previous day value area high. And if they go over that, then they'll try and get back to high of day. Did you just pop 30s? You popped it. No follow through. There's still so much liquidity high. And buyers are doing what we would have wanted to see sellers doing. See, buyers are stepping up, trying to support the bid. When we wanted sellers to walk down and support the ask to push lower, buyers are trying to support this bid at 705s right now. So they've moved up from 70s. Here's the New York Open. It is now an hour after New York Open and we have not moved. We're at the same price. Okay, into these bids at 705s. So they're trying to support price here. Are you going to make me have one go attempt if you break down? ES just failed 165, straight back into VWAP. Found a bid at VWAP so far. Still not touching this. Why do I get the feeling it's going to do some massive move without me? Can I show you what you mean by buyers protecting 705? Well, you can just load up Bookmap or use a DOM and you will see the orders have been sat there, which is why we just washed down into them. God, this is awful. More buyers here at 700, 7,000. Under this, we can move to 70s, but this is the same level as earlier, right? And we've protected these levels all day long. Right into this node. Still, the sellers are up at 45 and 50s, not walking down. So someone just joined now at 25. So there's a little bit of sell pressure at 20 and 25s if we pop up there, which is basically in that big node. Google red to green, Amazon red to green. Just be heads up. Yes, still absorbing VWAP. Messy. Great for you range traders. Awful for anyone else. There we go. Straight back up. So they held the sevens. For me personally, untradeable. Pakistan continuing negotiations require concessions from America and Iran. So we're just seeing like the same headlines we've seen for what, 7 weeks? value area high now. High volume node. If we print above these, the bigger squeeze is on. It just feels like a range to me until it proves otherwise. Buyers now will want to protect 25s, right? If you're a buyer, you'd want to be protecting 25s for this squeeze up to value area high and previous day value area high. Look at all these sellers, same as this morning. Just tiny lots, 15 lots. There's no sellers, guys. There's no sellers here today. There's nothing. There's just going to be a slow drift up again by the looks of it. Yeah, Trump won't stop posting this morning, I know. In big capital letters as well, because it's really important. Because we say it in capital letters. When we disrespect someone else, it has to be in capital letters. Oh, my Ninja Trader's now gone down. Great. Fantastic. So I'm going to close this down and reopen it. Here we go. So gentle walk up we go. Over the high volume node, back into positive gamma. They're coming to previous day value area high. If they get over that, they will just gently walk it up all day long again, probably. And again, like no selling on the tape. I don't have Ninja open now, sorry, so I can't help you with footprint, but I can just see pathetic sized orders selling up here. And we might go all the way back up to the highs now that we're over value. As ES does exactly the same thing. Come on, Ninja. Can we open, please? Did anyone else have Ninja crash then? I don't get it when it does that. Why it does it. Does it quite a few times at the moment. No data and then goes off. It's weird. UNT went down 10 minutes ago. Yeah, they must be having some CME problems on Tradeify with the data. All right, so value area high on the session here. Still no selling. Still just very light passive selling. Still, we're just going to walk higher by the looks of it. ES coming back up to PDC and PDH. Like I said, Amazon's gone red to green. Google's gone red to green. You've got a mixed bag. So Apple, Amazon, Google green. Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, Tesla all red. Broader market, a complete mix as well. Oracle slammed today. AMD up today. Netflix up today. Hood down today. AVGO up today. PayPal down today. Kavana down today. Bull down today. Neo down today. IOEN up today. IONQ down today. Like it's completely mixed. It's not like yesterday where we had like everything on the book was green. It's very, very different. This thing's just going to drift. You can see it. They just want to drift all the way back up now. Untradeable. Untradeable for me and how I like to trade. So it's just a question of sitting on sidelines at the moment. You could argue pullbacks into here for longs, but you're trading no man's land inside yesterday's value for the long. That's the problem. The cheap long is down here and down here. That's the cheap long, but they're not giving it to us. They only give it to Globex traders. That has been a story as well for the last few weeks, right? That the Globex traders are getting really nice positionings off the news. Right, failing previous day value area high so far there again. So still just inside yesterday's range. We're at value area high for the session. We're inside previous day's value. They're still not selling. They're still not walking down. ES is still above that 165. It still wants more. I still think this is a gentle grind all day at this point. I can't see how it does anything else unless it comes under all this volume. Big buyer coming in here, 243 size. So for some reason, you've got a huge buyer suddenly just come on the tape at value area high from yesterday. Action's getting very wonky here all of a sudden, folks. It's like they've just woken up. That's a 453 lot buyer just joined in here. What is going on? This is some serious size just piled in here. 641 lot now just piled in. What are we doing? Why? Why are you all suddenly being very aggressive here? Something's happened. They know something. That is monstrous size. Huge orders. Another 176 lot buyer. Mate, what is going on here? Huge, 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 huge orders. This is massive. And these are all market side, and we're not moving off it. Not yet, anyway. This is odd to me. Why are they being so aggressive here? They know something. There's no way you get that aggressive up here. There's just no way. They know something. Something's happened. What we've just seen in there is absolutely monstrous. Thousands of market buyers just came right in there out of nowhere. That is monstrous. Never seen anything like it at such an odd level. What's the bet some news comes out in a minute? I'm not seeing anything hit the tape. But like, you can't even see the bubbles. That was so much buying there. It's huge. Huge. I don't get it. We haven't moved away from it. There's definitely passive selling into it to absorb it, but this is a little bit wild here. If they break down, there's going to be thousands of lots offside here. If they don't, oh my god, they're going to get fucked. Their average price is at 45 right now, folks. If they break down here, you are going to have thousands and thousands of buyers offside. Thousands. Well, if we move down now, I'm going to have to take it. If we start breaking down here, I'm getting short because there's so many offside here. Here's 25s. We still got to break underneath all of this, but there are thousands and thousands of buyers now in here caught. I don't know why they just did that. That seems bizarre to me. Okay. Well, if we move under 7,000, if we move under VPOC, I will be interested in fading. And I guess you could argue if we pop up to 40 and reject, although that feels very, very risky because of the structure is still bull side. But if we move under 7,000 and we start running them, using them to move lower, I'm interested. I don't understand why they've been so aggressive there. That seems bizarre. Structure's still bullish right now, which is why I'm saying I'd rather trade underneath all of this. All right, I'd rather wait for the short underneath all of this and then look for that. But there are thousands of buyers in here. Yeah, I'd say basically at 45. So you can watch this pot if you're adamant on taking the range. If you reject 45 here, you know they're stuck. But if you reclaim it, they're back on side and they'll be looking for high of day. I still don't understand why so much size came in there so aggressively. But what we do know is there's a passive seller there because we didn't move through it. I'm still not seeing any news. Well, we're not getting through it. You can see it right here. All these guys. That is thousands and thousands and thousands of lots. I don't understand why you would suddenly start buying there over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, applying that much size, but that's what just happened. go up to 45. What's the exposure up there? Yeah, 45 is the level. All right, well, they stayed heavy. They didn't let them out. I'm interested in shorts if we start to break down. I don't want to be early. The structure is still bullish, but if we start to break down under here, same trade as earlier, I will consider it. All right, not before then. I'm going to try and wait for them. I know there's an argument to get short here in front of 45s, but just structurally, I want to be very, very careful. If we start to lose this and they're all stuck and they all become sellers, I think we see a gigantic wash. So for me, it needs to be underneath this node down here. I'm just going to turn the aircon off. Be right back. Oh, don't move too fast. Jesus. Make sure I'm back for this. Make sure I'm back for this. Hop's starting to be sold. They're starting to get very aggressive here. Yeah, still not breaking down. All right, we want to be short if this lets go. We're going to have to be short if this lets go. Into VPOC, into VWAP. So right now, we want 20s to reject and then to come back under 7,000 and then to get short. That would be the nice kind of play. So if they lift up towards 20s to 25s, you would want to see that stay heavy, create a lower high, and then start to wash down under 7,000. And we can start to play ball. Yes, it's still holding on. This is a weird day, man. This is a weird day. This is definitely a weird day. Those buyers are absolutely cooked. All right, I'm watching for the short here if we start breaking down, folks. So still we're holding VPOC, still we're holding VWAP. This node here needs to reject now. And then we need to move under this. So what I'm looking for is this, to then think about this. Remember, they're stuck right the way up here right now. Otherwise, this is the chop. I'm trying to not trade in this. So I want to see this, and then use all these buyer stops to move lower is what I'm thinking, if they're going to set it up. If they're just going to buy VWAP and VPOC and come right back up to 45s, there's nothing we can do with it. And ES, again, just looks like it wants to break out. This is absolutely weird. Just weird. ES is, don't do that. ES is right the way up here. Weird. Remember, if we get over 45s, they are all very comfortable and they have notable size on the book. And ES looks like it's trying to break out towards high of day right now. This is 1, 2, 3, 4th attempt up into this supply zone. ES is going for it. The divergence is massive. VIX is breaking down under 19s as well. And the chop continues. So this is the level that sellers will need to keep these buyers stuck at. If they go back over 45s, then high of day, I would imagine, for a gigantic squeeze out because you've got so much size up here. And ES is going for it. Yeah, untradeable again. Untradeable again for me for looking for continuation. No setup for me. Maybe there is for you, but for what I want, I'm not seeing what I want. Drew out what I wanted to see. Over the 45s now. Very good chance now of a breakout and go right back to the highs. Remember, this is the big cluster, and I would imagine, based on ES is about to make a new high of day, that we are about to squeeze. So what I find odd is why have they aggressively bought this and not that, though? That is weird to me. I don't get why they have aggressively bought that. Data glitch? No, it's not a fucking data glitch, mate. Are you joking? Yeah, just every single order flow tool is suddenly incorrect. Yeah. No. Is it options hedging? I don't. What? Buying the underlying asset out there? Why would they hedge there? Why so aggressively would they be hedged there? I don't. That doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me. No, this isn't, guys, come on, please. This isn't historical data. These are real orders going through on the book with real size. Come on, guys. I'm not reading this wrong, all right? Nothing's changed. This is just really big action took place there. I could see it on Bookmap in front of me live. I could see it on the orders on the tape going through. This isn't some technical, like, oh, it's a malfunction. No, that happened. Just accept it happened. It's insider trading. Well, that's my point. If, with that big, it feels like they know something we don't. Because why would you pile in thousands of lots there with that much confidence to just market buy it that hard? I'm not seeing any news. ES still failing to make a new high, but it's coming for it. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'm waiting for some giant candle to come here because I think they know something. Because I don't get why you would pile in like that otherwise at this level. I think there is probably a ripper coming in the market because that is notable what took place there at value area high. I'm still not seeing anything. What a weird choppy day. The chop isn't what's weird, but the positioning is what's weird. So ES looking for the breakout. It looks like it's going to get it. It's about to take out high of day. So big divergence. Remember, ES is trading right up here right now. I'm just waiting to see if they just explode this thing. What are they doing? VIX under PDC now, folks. Under 19s, under PDC. Next level down for it would be 1868s and then 18s. So VIX just drifting lower and lower and lower. Still nothing. So most of today's range is in 60 points. This feels like it's going to explode higher here based on how they've positioned. Don't get why you would buy value area high from the previous day when we're in a range, but they have aggressively bought it, and there's clearly passive selling here. Once that passive seller gives up, I think you get some swipe. I think ES is going to take out previous day high as well. Still not seeing any news. My dad just messaged me. Just got rid of his last lot of car, sub 300. What a trade. Here we go. Here's the move up. So ES coming into previous day high. I expect this to come higher now because of how much they piled in here. I expect us just to start really forcing our way up. I'm not trading this long here. Just leave it alone. It's one of those days. So PDC is where they're lifting up to. Gross. This is gross. I think they're going to turn the boosters on here. I don't think there's any way anyone positions that aggressively around the 45s for a small move. I think they're looking to turn the boosters on here. I think we're going to have something happen. We'll see if it is. Maybe I'm wrong. All right, ES looking for previous day high. It's through PDC now. So strength over there. VIX still drifting lower. And this thing's just going to keep going and going and going. Like I said, I don't think there's any move in this now, unless you guys were long. I mean, maybe some of you guys like these dips longs. For me, the long opportunity was the RBS zone down here. Right, that's what we were looking for long. I wanted to have, if they didn't do this yesterday or overnight, the thought process today was to sell into this and bid back up. That was the thought process today. They kind of killed that trade for me overnight. And this is where we're now at. And I think all-time highs are probably on deck here. Honestly, I think that's what they want. All right, previous day high now taken on ES. I think all-time highs are on deck. They know something. There's no way they've positioned that aggressively to not try and get to the upside. Maybe all the way up into here, into the cool level, 160. So expanding yesterday's value now. So we will eventually move today's value higher. It's surprising the thing hasn't shot up fast. So I agree with you. I actually agree with you on that. Like when they position that big, I am somewhat surprised they haven't just like really aggressively run it and that they're in a slow grind. But they have positioned huge here. So we can move this up a bit. Like this is their level. We'll do it as blue so we remember that this is the big buyer level. All right, they're all in here. They're in this node. They didn't buy this node. They bought this side of it. All right, they were willing to sit through that. All right, new high day ES. What's the next level? Spiders, you'd be looking for 712s. That's the big gamma level, 712s, your big GEX level. Those trading ES, you'd level that it might be now looking for would be 185. I think we went over that this morning. And for us, you'd be looking for 160 if they're really going to extend through this. All-time highs incoming, yeah, I think probably. I do think probably, given what they've done today. I wouldn't have said that at the beginning of the day, but given how they've just positioned, it's more about how they've positioned makes me think, well, how are you that confident? Who is market buying that much size unless they know it's going to like go all the way up? So we're talking about serious size on the tape there. I can't really remember seeing stuff like that happen for a long time. All right, that was very, very, very aggressive. IB expansion, we can have a look where the IB expansion would be. Into these 170s, so basically the 160 level, and then 240s. And the drift is on. The drift is on. Here we go. So I'd say all-time highs probably incoming here. That's what they're running for. Why didn't you buy when you saw it? Just because I saw it doesn't mean I have to trade it, right? That's what I'm saying. Why would they buy here? This is not a good buy level. You're buying previous day value area high. That's premium, right? And we drift back in, and they didn't buy this again. There's some absorption, and we've gone up. Like, that's not a level to buy at. Just because I saw it, just because you see something doesn't mean you play it, right? I think it's bizarre that they've bought there, to be quite honest. If they'd been aggressive down here or in a pullback in here, sure, but up there, that seems very odd to me. Very odd to me. Right, so IB now taken. I still think they'll probably come higher later in the day. I don't think this is done. I guess you just have to see if they reload, if they drift back in and reload. 712 was just hit on SPY like we talked about. Remember, that is the big call level. It's your first big call level for the spiders. If they get over that, they're going to keep going and going and going. But that's your first call level on SPY. 7155 is where ES needs to get to. And that's the equivalent of up here, 7160. So I guess pullbacks, you want to see if they hold this big blue box right now, which is it's a big pullback. Ideally, you'd want, if you're still buy side, you'd want them to hold PDC or 75s, but this blue box would need to hold for them. So still absorbing here in front of PDC. I mean, they can afford a drift down here. They can come right back down in if they want to. But I think all-time highs is probably the target here. There is some passive selling at the 100. Like I said, SPY has hit a cool wall. I'm somewhat surprised they just haven't absolutely sent this at this point. I think new highs are coming here. I think they're coming for it. Here they come. There they go. It's a good hold in front of PDC. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing rips all day now. So previous day high is all-time high up here. This is where they're trying to get to. And then above that, you're into price discovery again, right? So we don't know how high it can go at that point. You can just use extensions. VIX is loading. Yeah, VIX just tagged into previous week low. In fact, it's caught a little bit of a bid, but it's stuck between PDC and PWL at the moment. $240 target if you're long. Yeah, I mean, this grey box is supply, right? So this if for you guys, this basically, and then above that you just have to see if and what they're able to do. Still stuck at that 712s on the spiders. It's a big level. It's a big level. Also, we can do this for the morning move. Come on. Yeah. They're definitely trying to get up there. Getting frustrated? Yeah. I mean, it's hard to watch, isn't it? It's hard to watch. It's a lackluster day. Like I said, I said it in Discord last night. That move in Globex took the easy money away from today. It's just unfortunate. Sometimes it happens. But we could have had the fade down to the RBS and the buyback up off that today had they not done it in, I don't know how quickly they did it, in like 5 minutes yesterday. This hourly move here was what I would have been looking for today, right? Because yesterday was the breakout. I would have been looking to try and fade that back into here and then buy that back in cheap for this move here. But like we talked about, it happened already. It happened at 8 at night, midnight, and 6 a.m. All right, it's the trade's gone. The train had left the station. And so it was just a battle in here this morning while they made up their mind which way they went. So any trade in here is very hard because you're midpoint. Very, very hard. Technically speaking, normally I'd be looking for a look above and fail here. I will not be looking for it based on that. No way. No way. Prop firms don't let you trade overnight pre-market. Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. It's just I wasn't at my desk. They do. All prop firms allow you to do that. All right, SPY keeps getting stuck at these 12s. All right, spiders keep getting stuck at these 712s. There's no way this doesn't swipe up higher. It's just, do they need to reload first? 712, massive for the SPY though. You can see it. It is massive for the SPY. We are still holding the initial balance high here. They are still trying to get to previous day high here. That 712's rejected a good few times now. Question is, do they come and like swipe down first, trap sellers, and then reload? That's what I'm wondering. What would be that level? There's so many imbalances to come down for. 75 maybe? Yeah, into this node maybe, like a little trap and go. Or they're just going to squeeze non-stop and get there. At the moment, they're just holding the IB, so they can just squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. And like I talked about, passive liquidity above, just sat above. No interest in selling. They're just like, we'll just sit here. We might even lift and go higher. which is what they've done all day. So there's just been no sellers on the tape today. Well, interesting. Now we've got the high of day. We've flipped, and now NQ has the strength and ES doesn't. Now SPY is stuck at 712s, and the Qs want to make new highs. So we've now flipped. We've rotated back into tech by the looks of it, because Nvidia's now caught a bid, Google's caught a bid, Amazon's caught a bid, Apple's holding up. I think they need to come and reload into 75s, maybe even down to 54s, and trap sellers before they do anything else. But who knows? But these are always dangerous. I wouldn't be long up here. Would not be long up here. I think they need to wash and trap before they do anything else. Probably down towards 75, I would say, somewhere down there. Where could you add if you were long? Probably if you trap into 75 or trap into 50s and find a bid, then you could maybe think about, you could think about this kind of move here happening if they do this kind of thing here, or even down into here, right? Something like that. I wouldn't be adding long in supply. Remember, like, if you're taking a long position now, this is where buyers got stuck on Wednesday last week. You don't want to be adding long where they're stuck, right? What we wanted to do was add long where the sellers were stuck, which is, where's my blue box? Which is where? God, I've gone too far. Which is here, sorry. Couldn't find the position, which is here, right? The sellers that got stuck here. Right, what we wanted to do was get long here for this move of this box. Right, if we think about this, we don't want to be long up here. We'd love to be long down here. Right, that's the move. That's what they've taken away from us in Globex. That's the move. The divergence flipped. Yeah, it's definitely flipped. And ES is going to come back in and test its PDC, PDH, IB high here and see if it finds a bid there. But like I said, it's because the SPY got caught at the gamma level, the 712. Tagged it twice and couldn't get through it. So it comes back in as they take profits. We haven't hit any of those on the Qs. Like QQQ's got to get to 657s. It's nowhere near. So we just have to see how this sort of washes around now and how we operate. Like, I would be watching. Can we draw it? I'd be watching this here and this down here to see how we act in those. Look, ES just caught a bit off PDC. There you go. That might be enough. It might be all that ES needed to do. Slow drift. Slow drift. It's just a question of, can we buy it at the moment? Can it come into any level of reasonability before it takes out all the highs? The answer at the moment is no. And there we go. So ES just running the show here. NQ like flipped, and then we have to wait for ES to reload, and then we go higher without washing anyone out. What a market this is. There you go. So if you are long, you should get a breakout here towards all-time highs, I would say. That's what it's trying to get to. That's where you're trying to get to. And they're all stacking selling partials in front of that. Remember, above all-time highs, we're in price discovery mode. All right, so above all-time highs, we're in price discovery mode. And like I said, remember, they loaded the boat here because they know something that we don't, would be my guess. You don't load the boat like that without knowing. Here we go. So all-time highs coming up. Congrats all of you that are in it. Not enough to buy. No, for me, I'm not going to buy in supply zone. I need a trap, something under these. Again, ES, much nicer. If we think about ES, what did it do? Broke out, pulled back into RBS zone, right? Previous day close, IB high, PDH, right? That's a good trade. We're not seeing that on NQ. They're just making it really, really, really hard with the divergence right now. Really hard. Because we haven't taken out the highs. We haven't come back into here. They're just asking us to buy supply to move higher. That's what they're asking us to do right now. If you're not already in it. So all-time high is just around the corner here, folks. I think you're probably going to get it any moment now. And then it's just a question how far they can expand for you guys. You guys are saying 90% discounts on Apex again. Yeah, it started yesterday. I did post it on YouTube for you guys. Code FZT, we get you 90% off right now. All right, so all-time highs coming up here. And then above that, you should see a stop hunt. You need to be taking partials into that. You've seen really good absorption again on this pullback here. Slow drift higher. No sellers on the tape today like we talked about. The only sellers that were there were in here trying to absorb these huge lots. And then we've gone. We have absolutely gone. Bought 042 and closed my eyes. 042. Hey, what, you bought where they bought? Nice. What, with them here, or you bought the other side? If you bought this, it's probably a better trade. It's a very risky trade though, buying previous day value area high when we're in a range. So it's such a poor. This is what I find weird. It's such a poor area to be buying at, but they dictated it, right? They knew. They absolutely knew. Would I do a short from all-time high? No. Like, why? We talk about this all the time. Why? What's your reasoning? What's your reasoning for shorting all-time high? Have you got supply above you? Is anyone trapped? Is the momentum good? The only thing that you can say is good is, oh, the location might be good. There's literally zero reason to do it. What do I make of the dip after the massive buyers? Well, this is what I'm saying. I don't understand why they would buy this and let this happen unless they needed to trap more shorts in. But they already got their liquidity. So it's kind of odd to do this, to come that deep, right? So you would expect them to hold this. If they're going to buy that, you would expect them to hold that. That was slightly odd. I'll be honest. Like this whole thing here was a little bit weird. Was a little bit weird. It's not normal that you see it like that. It really isn't, guys. And it was also like, yeah, it was just weird. Like, look at all this. That's just weird. It's straight up weird. Weird to be doing that. Thousands of lots bought aggressively in there. Right, you're just short of all-time high here. It's going to come for you. VIX is loading. Well, like I just said, you said this last time. It's just trapped, all right? VIX is under 19 still, right? It's trapped between PDC, PDL. It's not like it's pushing higher, mate. Right? It's in a little pullback. You're acting like we're ripping through 20s and 21s. It's not. It's found a little bit of a bounce off the previous day low, but it's right at its close price and it's not above 19s. It's not ripping faces higher. Right? It's very, very slow. Could it be Trump manipulation? It could be anything, guys. It could be anything. Who knows? It could be anything. We don't know. We will never know why or how that happened. We will only ever be able to see the levels. We won't know the whys because we didn't execute the trades. Right, here's the pullback to IB. It's a little bit odd that you haven't swiped the highs like we always talk about. I find this whole thing bizarre, but it's probably coming. So back into these imbalances here, and they will try and, I would imagine they will try and lift. How long have we got till lunch? We've got plenty of time. They've got plenty of time to go back for it. This whole thing is a little bit odd right now. Just waiting for some huge news to hit the market and say, hey, deal's done. And then we'll go, oh, that made sense. That made sense. Shippers stay clear of Strait of Hormuz after vessel seizures. I mean, that doesn't sound positive. 4 Iranian oil tankers broke through the US blockade in 2 days. Is that true? Probably not. Probably not true. Probably fake news. Did I get anything today? I got this short here. This one here. That's all I got. Sat here waiting. Waiting and waiting and waiting now. What a boring day. Reclaim of these VWAPs was good. If we had just done this higher, or we'd swept and then done it, it would be clean. But we have stacked VWAPs and flow zones the right way. It's just this. I can't get my head around this. I want to understand why that happened there. I want to understand why. Why did they do that there, of all places? Here we go. So all-time high coming here, folks. You're about to get it. And then 160 is the next target. Remember, you just run as above. We don't know how high it goes. Above here, we're in price discovery. We can just keep going higher and higher and higher and higher. Right, so all-time high is now taken. Remember, price discovery now. We don't know how high you're going to go. You can keep going and going and going and going. There is absolutely no supply up here. Right, you are in price discovery up here. I very much doubt they're done with it. ES trying to catch up here as well. I'm just going to use the bathroom while this does what it needs to do. All right, still doing the dance here. Still slow drift. Like I said, you can't be short. There's absolutely no reason to be short. You're in price discovery right now. You have no supply overhead. There's clearly a big buyer on the tape today who started joining in at, I don't know, around 10:30 this morning. And we are in lift-off mode now. And there's no, like I said all day, there's been no real sellers. They had the chance to get aggressive at the lows when we looked for that breakdown, and they failed. So it was a failed breakdown. And that's probably helped cause some of this lift back up. Let's hope it grinds and grinds up. Yeah, for you guys that are long, I hope it does do that. But make sure you're paying yourself on the way. So like where you are now should be a target. 160 should be a target. Above that, 280. All right, 160, 280. I'd be watching those. Aren't there still orders on the book? Yeah, but they're just passively taking money. Remember, supply really is trap buyers. That's what supply is. Supply is trap buyers. We are above all the trap buyers, right? So true supply is trap buyers. Not like a small passive seller of a 32 lot is not going to do fuck all to someone who's got thousands of lots long, is he? Right, he's not going to be able to do anything. You will find that what we're seeing up here is a little bit of profit taking more than anything. Let me just zoom out the SPY because this is a little bit different. Is this? Yeah, SPY about needs to take all-time highs as well. It's not quite there yet. Basically 71240s or something is your all-time high on SPY. That's what it will be looking to take out. ES, I think, has a little way to go. It does. Still hasn't made a new high. But it's getting into some of these blocks on ES. So your ES will need to take out basically the 85s. That's where that gamma is. That's why it's up there. Your cool wall. That's exactly why it's up there. If I was long, how tight would my stop be? Well, that would be depending where I was long from, you know? Like, if I was long... I can't believe we didn't clean any of these up. It's fucking amazing, this market. If I was long down here, I'd probably just have my stop up here on the runners, and I'd be taking partials, or maybe protecting this shelf here. All right, if you've joined long later, then obviously you've got to move your stop a little bit tighter, hopefully protect IB for you. But slow grind it is. Slow grind it is. Here we go. Still we're going. Still we're going. I'd be amazed if you don't get like a big breakout here soon. It just depends whether they need to retrap in any of this area. In fact, we can get rid of this now because you've obviously clearly gone through it. Remember, ES hasn't taken the high yet. It hasn't taken out all-time highs yet. It's got room to go. Same with the SPY. It hasn't taken it yet. They have room to go. You have more squeeze available. There is no supply. I'm trying to help you guys. There is no supply. Do not be looking for the reversal in this. You will get yourself slapped. Even if it reverses down, you will just be guessing a top. We talked about this last week, or maybe it was earlier this week. I can't remember. Just avoid that temptation. 160 is your next target for your longs, those of you who are longs. And 657, if you're playing the Qs, 657 is a big GEX exposure wall. So you want to be trimming some into this level. So 160 for NQ, 657 for QQQ. And 185 for the ES. Those are basically your levels you'd want to be trimming some in. And then just see how long you can hold it. You know, the day is young. You're 2 hours in. Maybe they drift all day long. Maybe there's a news piece that comes this afternoon, which is very, very bullish, which will explain why this happened down here. All right, so just sit in it. All right, if you're positioned well, try and let it work. How do I know 160? Right here, because it says it for me, right? That is your cool wall. There is a wall here. So we respect that because the options market had put a cool wall there, and their next big cool wall is all the way up at 280. So that's how I know it, because it's told me, because it's available data right now. It's not a guess. It's a genuine wall. Same wall as the 657 on QQQ. It's not like an imaginary number I'm making up. We know options traders are likely to take some profits into that. Over that, we can squeeze again. Absolutely. So little poke above all-time high. We're pulling back into the all-time high now. See if they rebid this up for you guys. Wall from OPEX tool. Well, it's not OPEX because it's 0 DTE. I mean, I guess it is options expiry, but it's not like a OPEX date one. It's expiries today. if you had a single position running long at the moment, would you look to close at 160 for a pullback? What do you mean close at 160 for a pullback? 160 is above us. I don't understand what you mean. That would be a target price above, not a pullback, would it? Why do I think there are little sellers today? Well, because we failed to break down, I guess, and I don't know, maybe just not the market environment for them to want to sell in. If we're net long, maybe they just think there's more juice and more juice and more juice going into earnings in this week, next week. I'm somewhat surprised given the gap down on the market, especially in the mag names. But I mean, they're all recovering pretty well, which tells you a story, really, doesn't it? They're all recovering very, very well. Doing the dance here, all-time high to 160. That's the dance at the moment. It's like 30 points, whatever it is. There are sellers stacked above 160. I'll tell you now. You've got sellers at 175, 195, 200, a little bit at 225s, 245, 250, 275 is 150 lot. 275 is 150 lot. If they do attract it up there. Still holding at old all-time highs here. I'm going to just move this above now. All right, so we know this level here. It's the red line, previous day high. We're just going to move the all-time high up and up and up. Can I make sure it's got it? Yeah, it does. Okay, just check in. We're in positive gamma right now. Everything over this level here, 35. So we're just an upside lift up to this point, squeeze territory above that point, right? Max move for the day at the moment is 280. Remember, the sellers are up at 275 like I talked about. This will change though. They will add some new stuff in this afternoon if we start to base and hold. It's just still a slow grind. There's no blow off, no one trapped, just very, very gently, slowly moving higher. All right, back to previous day high again. Sellers last got a little bit caught at 20s, so maybe buyers will protect 20s, but at the moment they're not pulling back at all for any reload for you guys. And they're leaving lots of imbalances and just walking it higher at the moment. Okay, maybe now they're going to come back for that imbalance at 20s. We'll see. So some aggressive selling here. So some profit taking here. This is the move to 20s like I talked about. This is where the sellers last tried to sell at 11.17 and there's an imbalance. We didn't even fill it. We caught a bid in front of it at 24s. There was a seller try and walk down there and he instantly moved back up. The moment this caught a bid at 20, he was walking down to 50s and 60s and 50s, and then he instantly moved back up. He was 100 lot, and he instantly got scared, which is interesting. Right, here's the imbalance at 20s. So if they come under this, they'll come and test 13s. There you go. These sellers still stuck here. They just covered, which is why you got that pop there at 20s. So the sellers that were stuck just covered, became a buyer, and supported the bid there at 20s. Exactly into 20, exactly like we said, because that's where they last got stuck. So, gonna happen over and over. If they lose 20s, the next shelf will be at 13s, and then the 100 evens. And if you lose that, I think you come back to 75s, which has moved up to value area high on the day now. It's like slowly moving up. But at the moment, you can see that seller caught there, became a buyer, and unfinished business higher still, like we talked about. All dips just paying today. Just in a big channel here now. That's your channel. And remember, SPY still hasn't taken out the highs yet. It's what SPY is trying to do. Qs are trying to get to 657, and we're probably trying to get to 160. Almost at that 160. Remember, there's sellers above still. SPY coming for new all-time highs here. So it's tapping on it right now. Probably pokes above in a moment. Probably very, very close to breaking above. VIX, like we talked about, bear flag created into PDC. That guy that said it was running away, and I was like, it's not. It's just back testing. Right, into the 160 would come. So I'd be taking some profits here, especially anyone who just bought that dip at 20s we just talked about. You better be locking some profits in here into 160. Anything above this can get squeezy in this grey area, but you want to pay yourself because there's no guarantee that it does get above this, but this is the level. This 160 will time up perfectly with the all-time high on SPY as well. 120 because of the failure. 120 because that's where the sellers got stuck at 11.15. They piled in there trying to sell it and they failed. All right, so that's their pain point. So if we come back to their entry point, guess what they're going to do? Stop out, break even. What does that mean? Market buyer. What does that mean? Support mechanism goes higher. That's why we said 120s. It's the exact reason, like I said, over and over again. It's a trap seller there. All right, it's a trap seller there. All right, you're just shy of that 160. ES is just shy, sorry, ES, SPY just shy of the breakout of the all-time high, and Q657 is the same as our 160 on here. "25 minutes left." Oh man, I give up with some of you. I'm not answering a question like that. I honestly struggle with some of you just to read stuff like that. Are you winding me up? If I'm telling you take profit there, why would you say is it a good buy? Are you absolutely mental? Oh my god. Yes, I'm telling you to take profit there. You, my friend, why don't you send all your account full port long at the most highest price we've ever reached in the history of the stock market? where we have a call wall. Fantastic idea. The worst thing that would happen for that is it works for you and you think to do it again and again and again. All right, VIX back into the 19s here. You're still in this channel, folks. Remember, you took all-time highs. SPY didn't quite take them. It's still holding that 712 on the spiders. We just failed in front of 657 on the QQQs. We just failed in front of 160. That's just some front running because we know it's a wall. All right, if you were an options trader long, you'd be taking some of your position off into that. If you bought all-time highs every time, you'd be up nice right now. Well, not really. You would have been down since November. No, yeah, since November. You would have been in massive drawdown since November. Remember, we only took out all-time highs like in the last week. So you'd be a huge drawdown. All right, so I'd be watching. Remember, we can come right back in here if it wants. We have retested once here already. All right, but this is a squeeze and grind out. There's a bit of a shelf here. If they lose this, I'm not saying to short it, by the way. I'm saying it can come back in. So those of you who are long, because I know a lot of you got long for this guy here, or maybe you got long there and added again. But you want to be taking profits in this zone here. And if it comes back down here, unless you're on a runner only and willing to sit through that, be aware. Right, if they don't protect this node here, we can absolutely come right way back down into 75s. Just be aware of that. All right, be aware of that. If you've been long, you do not probably, unless you're a runner only, probably do not want to give that whole move back. I honestly, some of these questions, I don't know if you're just trying to wind me up. The Discord has really helpful scripts. What, you mean the stuff from Indy? Yeah, Indy's a beast. We've got a pro version of that coming soon. All right, VIX back to these 19s. This is the back test of VIX. Has to make a decision here. What it does. Like I said, if this can come right back down to that shelf at sort of 13s. If we lose that shelf, then you'll start to see a rotation lower. If they support any bid down here, then they're just going to build out liquidity to try and get back up higher. That's the game right now. Gunner's now second position. Yes, thanks for that, mate. It's just what I needed. It's just what I needed. I love the Gunners being in a second position, throwing their season away. What's the bet we fuck it up at Atletico as well, just to make sure we lose everything this season? It wouldn't surprise me. Big question then will be Arteta be booted out or not if that happens? All right, so waiting to see if they support the bid here in this sort of low volume node here. This is where buyers will want to support the bid. They will not want to lose this bid. If they lose this bid, there's a bigger wash. If it comes down to, I think, rotation the rest of the day. Well, there's no rotation unless we come back inside this. Oh, currently inside this and this, right? This can just be a pullback to go higher. Anything here like this grey node, like I said, low volume node, they can support this to go higher. Even this they can support to go higher. The rotation will happen if we get stuck under here and drift back down inside of all of this. But they've done quite a lot of work, again, to break us out of this range. All right, so we've swept the top side. They can keep supporting the bid down here. They don't have to come into rotation. Rotation would be really in here again. Right, we've moved out of that at the moment. So I wouldn't be thinking about rotation right now. I'd be thinking about a bull trend up. Again, they're supporting in front of the grey box. Like, it's just bull trend up right now. Until it proves otherwise, that is what the market is in. It's in a slow drift, bull trend up. You don't want to try and fade a slow drifting market. It will absolutely get you stuck. Just think about the bad news that came overnight. What have we done? We've gone upside, right? They don't care. They don't care. They're positioning probably for peace. They're positioning for good earnings, all this stuff. Now, Trump came out this morning saying nothing will get through the blockade. Did we sell on it? No, we bid straight back up again. It's hard to love him. Yeah, I just think he's made some... I called it weeks ago. This whole thing started with the Caribou Cup. I'm surprised, given that he's an ex-player. He's not like a manager who hasn't played. Momentum and confidence is everything. You want to put not your best side into the Caribou Cup and lose in the final. You watch what that does in the locker room. We talked about it here. I'm surprised he made such a stupid mistake as someone that used to play. I expect that from a manager who's got no idea. But we all know confidence is everything in sport. That locker room, I don't know if any of you have played sport, but like if you lose finals in sport, it can have the biggest effect on you for that season and the season to come. I've done it. I've been the reason we've lost, like when I've played in tournaments that we've lost, I've also been the reason we've won. It's a heavy feeling to get rid of. It really is a very heavy feeling to get rid of. Okay, they're still supporting in front of this grey box right now. Right, still rotating this node right now. Kills your confidence. Yeah, exactly. It absolutely kills your confidence. That's exactly what it does. And then you probably get some fights in the locker room, you know, like the like with the keeper, fluffed up that final, and then yeah, it's just you get politics between players, and you just get the start of a crumble. It's very, very exactly. People start blaming each other. That's exactly it. And then you lose the dressing room, and then players get pissed off that didn't play in the final, who are good players who probably should have played in the final, and then they get funny with the manager, and that causes problems in the dressing room. And before you know it, you've got catastrophic events that none of us can see because they're happening in the dressing room. And then you go and play in the FA Cup, and you fluff that as well. All right, and then that's it. Confidence gone, dressing room gone, togetherness gone, and then you just go on a losing streak. And it's not uncommon, all right? This happens with many, 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 many teams, but I'm surprised he would let that happen with this team in that situation in a season this important, but that's what happened. Yeah, I totally called it. Yeah, I said it weeks ago. I said it the moment we got to Caribou Cup, I said, watch what happens now. All right, so into this low volume node. If buyers don't protect this node, then we'll come and test IB and maybe PDC. Right. For me, I would not be short biased in this market right now. I think this is probably just a pullback until it proves otherwise. Okay, so we've had very strong buying in this market today. So this is a pullback likely to get absorbed. I'd love it to come deep for me. We've got imbalances down here, remember, like we talked about, into the sort of 05s, and then under that, all the way back into 75s, like we talked about. So here's the mover towards the 05s here. And under this, we can go back to 75s. For those of you that are adamant and taking the counter trend, this is your initial balance high. So hopefully you guys locked in at that 160 towards the 160s like we talked about. And we can talk about the rotation if and when we come back into rotation. But right now, I'd see this as a stop hunt for everyone. And we'll just wait and see what happens. But it hit its target. Remember, its targets were all-time high, which was here. 36 to 60 was your main target. Anything above that is a squeeze, like we talked about. So there's some profit taking here. Waiting to see this node, big node that we're in here. Do we come back down to value area high, and what happens at that point? It'd be hilarious if they let go of this whole thing. Find it unlikely, but it would be funny. All right, SPY coming back into its RBS zone already. So SPY is back into this zone here. This is what's hard at the moment, it's positioning. SPY is already back into this level here, where we would be willing to bid off on the Qs. Here's the wash. All right, PDC here. Very, very big area, this next grey box, while they decide what type of condition we are in for the day. Fucking hell. ES back to VWAP already. Mate, such a nice trade on ES by comparison. So ES back down into this zone, SPY back down into this zone. Q's relative strength now. Of course, we flipped into relative strength in the Q's. So we're probably not going to get the zone we want. That's PDC. This is the big level. If we're going to be buyers, for me, I'd want it to move lower. Oil going, any news? Have a look. All we're seeing, Israel Defense Minister threatens different lethal strikes on Iran. I don't know what different means. Israel is awaiting the green light to resume war with Iran. So we've got headlines coming out. So I'm sure they will now question Trump or the administration on whether that's going to be approved or not from the US. Look at the response on ES again. What a nice trader. If you look at SPY into that RBS zone on a 5-minute, into that sort of 7-11, found a bid, which is your New York VWAP, 165 level on ES. Such a better trader at the moment. It's unreal the difference, how clean this is. Run the stops. There's your RBS zone. It's just way cleaner. Way, way, way cleaner. $10 minutes to lunch here, by the way, folks. Very, very close. Should have guessed the tops, one of you just said. Well, not really. I mean, you would have guessed here and here and here and here and here. The only point here is if they reject this low volume node, right? But this will be your counter trend trade. If you're adamant on it, would be a sell versus this, but you'd need to be taking profits into this. That would be the only trade, and ES has already done it, like I said. Guessing tops won't pay you. Playing backside will pay you, but just defining that this is counter trend. You'd need to define its counter trend. You are hoping for 1,000-point sell-off. Oh, you might be asking for a lot, unless we hear about some war. Unless we're going to go back into war and we start bombing Iran, then you probably will see that, because you'll see oil run. But yeah, the only sell right now would be a counter trend sell, would be versus this level here, leaving these players stuck. Would be this. That's your only opportunity at the moment, and you want to be covering here and runners in case it breaks down. Man, let's not say stuff like that in chat, eh? Even if you don't like a guy, let's not say stuff like that. Let's not talk about death. Don't think that's right. Do we use the 45 buyers? Well, down here, yeah, this is what I'm waiting to see. If we come into them, if they're still there, we can go back up. So ES has already come into them. So ES has already come into this zone, which is the annoying thing. So it's just like, are we going to actually even get down there? We're into a little imbalance here at the moment. We haven't come and tested that low volume node above yet. We're staying heavy under it. It might be that they just wash the whole thing. So if we can't pop up, there's no ability to short down into it. We're into an imbalance here, I can show you. We've left this low volume node. We've traded straight down, repriced some of this imbalance. We'd want to come up. If we're going to sell, we'd want to come up, sell this, cover this, and then see if these buyers from earlier, make sure you can see it, see if these buyers from earlier step back in again, and then we could rebid. If these buyers become sellers, we can think about a low of day because there's so much size there. Really depends what they're going to do. Really depends what they're going to do as we come in. ES to VWAP again. This is the thing. Timing this is going to be very hard because we've got massive divergence. ES holding VWAP for now. That 165 level. Big options level as well. Sellers are trying here. There's some bids trying to support at 75. Sellers are actually trying here on the tape. Not doing a very good job, but they are trying. I think it needs a back test higher first. And they come. They are desperately trying to get this breakdown here. Still's bid supporting 75. So grey box to grey box is possible. If they support, if they let go, grey box to blue box, it's box to box all day long at the moment. Try him. It's 165 on ES is key. That's your level. They're still supporting the bid there. Fix back through the 19s. I need a lift if I'm gonna sell, and I'm not willing to buy here. I'm willing to buy down here if we support. Really need a lift if we're gonna sell it. ES still supporting 165. Still huge divergence between the two. Waiting to see if we come back down into 45, and what happens when we get there is what's key. Not just coming into it. What happens if and when we get there? Again here on ES 165, they're just tapping on it over and over again. VIX still going upside. Still, we haven't come into 45. Still, there's no pop up into the low volume node. Talk about dead day for me. All right, here we go. What are we going to do in this level? Are there going to be buyers here, or have they exited at the highs, and are we about to rotate all the way back down to low of day? If they don't support the bid here, my thought is that we're going to break the lows of day. I will say that now. If they don't support the bid here, my thought would be that we'll probably break the low of day because we've left so much liquidity down here and we've now taken the top side out. And if they're not willing to hold the bid here, I would imagine we'll take the bottom side out. So this is the big level here. Good response so far. On the 6.5, holding SPY again. amazing how NQ moves. Yeah, it's amazing that it's not finishing moves properly at the moment. It's what's more amazing. It's not its normal personality, but it isn't. It's leaving stuff quite frequently at the moment. It's been a thing this year more than ever, I'd say. This feels like a very aggressive bid coming here. Very aggressive bid. What is going on? US officials, Lebanese-Israel talks will start today at midnight. Okay, so we've still got more news circulating about various wars right now. That's just dropped. So that was the aggressive bid off that. They liked that news. They go, okay, upside we go. Wars and rumors of wars. Yeah, exactly. Truce and no truce and all that jazz is what it seems like today. Not just today, for a little while now, isn't it? How are we doing on the likes? We are nowhere near. We are nowhere near 1,000 likes to do an Apex giveaway. Nowhere near. I know it's been a slower day, folks, and I've not really enjoyed watching the tape today. It's been a bit shite. But just smash the like button. We get to 1,000 likes, we do a giveaway. I don't know why I have to say it every single day. It's such a chore. Tradeify down. Is it really? That's not a good look. If that's true, hopefully not. Be a good sell if it rejected on the IB. Yeah, it would be. And you just want to be very careful of this node. I'm watching it to see if I do want to get involved for a lower high breakdown. But as we know, the big buyers this morning came in this blue box. We know that this is the average price of thousands and thousands of aggressive buyers. At the moment, we haven't even tested them. They are sitting comfortable at the moment. And ES will not break down underneath the New York VWAP and 7165. It is a big gamma level and a big level. It has been all day. We are in a very delicate moment right here while we make a decision for what happens next, because they can lose the whole bid here if they're not careful. Been off for an hour and you can't log back in. I'm sorry to hear that. Sounds like some of you are having issues, some of you aren't. So just be aware of that. Maybe there's some Tradeify issues today. Just be aware of that if that is the case. They're trying to grind back up here. Passive sellers at 05s, 20s, and 35s. Where's this level? Yeah, 20s. This is the balance right now. Right, sellers will want to sell up here and cover into this. Buyers will want to protect this and get that. Those are the two moves each side of it. We are sort of sat in between the two at the moment. Oh, and I'm hungry. Am I self-taught? Well, I don't know what you consider self-taught. Did I do a lot of courses? Yes. Are most of them bullshit? Yeah. I'd say 99% of what I learned was absolute shite. It just helped me develop awful bad habits rather than anything good. Right, bids coming back in here again. They're trying to force this up back to the IB. We're getting caught here. ES is still protecting that 165. That's your level on the ES. They keep holding 165. If they lose 165, we can come and test 155, 150, but they're not willing to do that right now. This is a pullback which is holding an RBS zone. Like I said, ES has come back into this zone. They're very different looking markets. NQ's made everything today very, very hard compared to what ES has done. They've made it very, very hard to trade NQ today at the moment. We are rejecting the initial balance, but we're stuck right at PDC, value area high, IB. If we start letting go, like I said, we can attack this, and if under there, I think you get a new low of day, but at the moment, no edge in this zone. You can see we've just come here and then gone stop, sideways, pause, wait and see, and headline swirling. And you're into news now as well, folks. Be aware of that. Into news, into lunch. Alex can't talk again today. Can feel the fatigue in me. Right, let's have a look here. Have we got the likes up yet so we can do a giveaway? Still not. All right, no giveaway today then, folks. No giveaway today. That's it for me. Board of this market. It's lunchtime. We're in a range. We're inside initial balance again. We've taken the highs. We haven't swept the lows. SPY didn't take the highs. It came into it through a tick and left it. And that's it. It's just going to do a dance all day long until we get something a little bit more certain with the news, I think. The easy move is the upside drift at the moment. Anything else is pretty tough to want to take. And we'll just see. We'll just see. We have to see how we set up for tomorrow on a Friday. But yeah, at the moment, it's a look above and fail of the all-time high at the moment, of previous day high. If we think about this, at the moment, what we're seeing is a look above and fail, but it really depends how we close. This is previous day's close. Under here, I would say under this level here, you will see weakness, right? Because I would say there are a ton of stops that have not been liquidated, which I'm very surprised we didn't take this morning before going up. That would be your usual move. So we went up first, ran the highs. If they lose that big buyer level, 145, 150, it would not surprise me to see us take out all these stops from the London session. Really would not surprise me. But just be careful if you're going to look for that short, because we tried it this morning and there was a passive buyer down there all morning down here. So you have to respect this liquidity down here. But if we start breaking under these big buyers, then there's a chance of moving lower this afternoon. But just be smart with it. Peace and love, folks. Those in Discord, I'm going to go for a walk now, get in the gym, and I'll pop in later. Hopefully it starts breaking down for you guys who are looking for it. And yeah, we go again tomorrow. We see what we get tomorrow. Peace out, folks. Use hard stops, all that good stuff. And don't forget, if you want to support the stream, all the codes are underneath. And I'll see you tomorrow, AM 9:15, bright and early. Peace out.